Since mid-November, French police have carried out more than 2,500 raids. An unprecedented anti-terrorism crackdown with pre-dawn swoops right across France. So far, nearly 300 suspects have been arrested and 400 weapons seized, including assault rifles and a rocket launcher. This is France under a state of emergency. But some say the measures have been too heavy-handed.
C'est impressionnant, vous voyez 40 policiers débarquer d'un coup, on ne sait pas ce qu'ils cherchent. Ils ont dû mettre peut-être une dizaine de coups de bélier. Une fois que tout est terminé, ils me disent que finalement ils n'ont rien trouvé.
On a terminé mon soupçon par des coups, des tirs aussi. Ma fille elle a été touchée autour du cou. Quand on voit sa fille en sang, je souhaite personne voir ça, surtout à 4h du matin en sursaut.
And in the roundup, there have been a handful of arrests seemingly not at all linked to November's attacks on Paris. Such as this environmental activist.
My restriction order contains no specific charges, apart from the fact that I led meetings in the run-up to the COP21 summit.
But for the French government, all these measures are necessary and legal, based on accurate intelligence.
We are casting the net very wide, but that's a necessity. In fact, it's an obligation for the state. But none of these raids are based on rumours or gossip. We always have elements, several elements, before we carry out these raids.
There's no detailed profiling or figures about exactly who's been the subject of the crackdown. But several French Salafists have been targeted.
Today I'm just living between my apartment and this police station. I feel like a criminal, but I've never actually been judged nor sentenced.
Bilal is now under a control order. He can't leave his hometown and has to check in with police 3 times a day.
Bonjour. Vous avez plein dans les poches?
Non, plus rien.
Rien, c'est bon. Donc je vais vous demander de vous tourner, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Bilal is well known to French intelligence for moving in Islamist circles, but has never actually been charged with an offence.
I've asked them to let me wear an electronic tag so that I can still go out to work. But they've told me tags are only for convicted felons, and my criminal record is clean.
His record is officially clean, but Bilal was questioned 8 years ago over his links to a French jihadist who left to fight in Iraq. He also admits having had brief contact with Ahmedi Koulibaly, one of the attackers who targeted Paris in January. The consequence, Bilal is now being fired from his job in a telecoms firm because of his control order.
Today my life is in pieces. I've lost my job. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent or support my children. If the aim here is to steer people away from radicalization, the government is doing exactly the wrong things.
For this police union spokesman, though, France simply has no choice in the current security context and must keep tabs on all those authorities deem suspicious.
We're talking about cases which have been double-checked. Most of these suspects are already well known, or we have doubts about them. This is a part of the population I would call borderline, people who don't live a normal way of life.
But how far should such preventative measures go? During this state of emergency, French authorities have, for the first time, closed 3 mosques because of fears over radicalisation. This mosque in Lagny, just outside Paris, was undergoing construction when it was shut down.
One of the former mosque leaders is in Egypt calling for jihad, so they closed it for security reasons.
Pierre Tabaldini works for Lagny Town Hall and tells us the mosque is in the spotlight because of its past. The former imam was deemed radical, but he left France in 2014, and the mosque has since been under new management.
For me, the raids here were all still justified. We want to check what's going on. If there's anything strange or not, that's fine. This was to check whether people still have links with Mr. Hamoumi, the former imam, or not. So they carried out a large number of raids, all the people who could have links with him. So now we're waiting to see whether anyone will be charged or not.
To date, despite numerous raids and control orders, no one has been charged in connection with any activities at the mosque in Lagny. Human rights group Amnesty International is concerned about the current climate in France. Their campaigners say the state of emergency has done away with the right of French citizens to be presumed innocent.
I fear that today, in the name of preventing further attacks, we're seeing the legal need for proof and the presumption of innocence being overturned. People who have not committed any crimes have far fewer legal guarantees.
French authorities say all those unhappy with raids, arrest or control orders carried out under the state of emergency can appeal. To date, though, all but one appeal have been rejected.